Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined each and every day by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Be sure to tell us where you're checking in from, what you're drinking, get your questions in. We got a lot to talk about this morning. Speaking of talking,
whoa,
I got to bring this up.
Whoa!
200,000 subscribers that happened overnight.
Wow.
Just want to give a big thank you to everybody out there.
It's a lot of people that want to talk red zone.
What's going on with the offensive line? Archer's shoulder, it's hurt, obviously.
Love
He's
it.
grimacing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And wins.
That's a mandate on the University of Texas and its power and potential, in my opinion.
100%.
And its brand. So congratulations to, Texas has the largest YouTube following of any school out there, and there's a reason for it. I think Texas has more fans than any team in the country. So, period.
All right, guys. Well, moving on this morning, let's take a quick look. Obviously, playing UTEP. The line, not a lot of change there. 41.5-point favorite for Texas. Over under is at 51. And it's still going to be hot with plenty of sun. Possible danger of dehydration, it says. So,
look, possible, yes. Dehydration and heat stroke. That's just what you want to read, 200,000 Texas fans. Come on out to the game with the possibility of dehydration and heat stroke. UV index, the brightness is 9, very bright. So get your gooders. We'll tell you about that later. Get your sunscreen. Is there a Texas brand sunscreen? There should be. And by the way, what normally sometimes when these games, when you're playing the G5 opponent, there's something that happens outside the game. And I want to say this, and I was telling Bobby and Blake before the show, I think that the coach at UTEP is one of the rising stars in this business, Scotty Waldron. He is from originally he played high school ball at Cleburne. Then he played NAIA football, D3 football. He was the head coach at Austin P. East Texas Baptist, I think. He was D3. Then he moved to D2, and he's kind of worked his way up the ranks. And look, he was 3-9 last year at UTEP. It's a tough job. But if you go watch his press conference for the Texas game this week, this guy has a real shot in coaching, in my opinion, like a real shot. He's a guy. Just remember, we're all talking about this in the chat on September 10th in about 10 years. He's going to be this guy's going to be a rising star in college football. I just a feeling I got listening to him and studying him after that. This guy's got a chance to be one of those.
Well, good luck to him. Good luck to him, except on Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey, the one thing that I do want to talk about before we move forward later today, and talked about the line and the over-under, Blake and Jerry, whatnot. Texas dealing with some injuries that are lingering. Sark mentioned it in his Monday presser. There's no two ways about it. The Longhorns have some issues right now. He talked principally about Trey Wisner during that episode, or during that press availability. But there are others that are having issues right now that Texas has to be aware of. At receiver, DeAndre Moore, Emmett Mosley, still trying to figure things out. Jack Indries was coming off a ankle sprain in the last game. On defense, you have Alex January, who is out. Michael Taff had an ankle sprain, was kind of limping pretty heavily on Saturday after the game. There's a number of different players right now who are hobbled is not the right word. And I want to say this. I think that 75% of them could play.
Right.
If it was
Florida. Yeah.
Okay. But Sark said there's no reason to be over aggressive in their return right now. The only thing that it hurts, in my opinion, Jerry and Blake, is the potential for chemistry to build over these next 2 weeks. But you would rather have a healthy Trey Wisner, a fully healthy Trey Wisner, 100%, as opposed to a 75 or 85% Trey Wisner against UTEP and Sam Houston State. So I understand and applaud and think that Sark's clearly making the right decision, in my opinion.
I agree.
I just, at the same time, there is a drawback to it, and we need to recognize that, especially if the chemistry on offense doesn't start clicking sooner rather than later, a little bit more than it has been.
Thank you for that, Brian Hughes. That's on the injuries. That's what I picked up from Scotty Walden. Some of this stuff is easy to pick up with these young guys. That dude's going places. On the injuries, I totally agree. I mean, look, there's the thing that stinks for Trey Wisner is you put together 100-yard games here, right? The blessing in disguise on this is one, it's a long season, and Texas is preparing for a long season. Hopefully, it is a very long season. But this is good for, we talked about it in Bobby in the preseason. The games 2, 3, and 4 were going to decide who's running backs 3, who ends up being running back 3 on this team, because injuries happen, and look, we're already seeing it. So again, Christian Clark, this is very important for the running back room. Christian Clark, Jarrett Gibson, and I bet we see some James Simon this week. I haven't been told that for the chat, by the way. I'm just betting we do. It feels like that time to me. That we see some James Simon this week. I think that's an ongoing competition these guys are having. So these guys get a chance to get a lot of reps coming up in these games, and we'll see what they do with it and see who kind of is going to emerge as the running back 3, because I do think the running back 3, as the season moves along, is going to be a very important piece to this team, even though it wasn't in Ohio State. It's going to be an SEC play because guys are going to get nicked up. So those battles that we're seeing in these games are actually going to be really big as the season moves along, because look, I mean, we all saw it when DeAndre Moore went out in this game. Okay, well, Dalen McCutcheon, it's go time for you. And that means who's going to be playing behind him? Somebody else is going to get an opportunity Saturday if DeAndre Moore doesn't go, that probably wouldn't have ordinarily. So I think this is there's the blessing in disguise part of this is where you truly build your depth, which I do think the second half of the season, you need your depth, because the injuries really haven't started for many teams yet, but they will come conference time. So where is your depth? Because who has the depth, who has the depth of talent where there's not a major drop-off, that's going to be very impactful in making a college football playoff, in my estimation.
All right, Bobby, tell us about our sponsor this morning, Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm.
Yeah, we'll do. Adam and the Lowy Law Firm have been helping injured Texans for 20-plus years. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind, from ATV to 18-wheeler, make sure you reach out to Adam. If you think you might be due compensation, he'll give you a free, no-strings-attached consultation. Again, that is LowyLawFirm.com, LowyLawFirm.com. Adam, thank you very much for sponsoring On Texas Football now for 3+ years. Thank you again to Adam Lowy. You also see Adam, by the way, on billboards across Austin, as well as inside the Moody Arena there on campus at the University of Texas. He supports UT very proudly.
Well, Jerry, you're on the road this week over in Florida. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, so it's been a monsoon 2 days in a row. So no practice again yesterday, but I was at Chaminade Madonna, y'all's favorite school here, to see Derek Cooper yesterday. I spent a couple hours over there, and we'll have a pretty cool video interview with Derek Cooper and Damian Jones, the head coach at Chaminade Madonna, who I've known since he was the head coach at Hollandale, and Tyler Huntley came through there. That was a decade ago. Damian and I were talking, Coach Jones and I were talking about that yesterday. But he talks a lot about Derek Cooper, kind of Derek growing as a player. He's played against Dia Bell all 4 years. Dia's been in high school now. They just had an unbelievable game last weekend. I posted 17 minutes of video from that game from somebody that kind of videoed that game. That's on TexasFootball.com in the Derek Cooper update thread. But it was a really good time spent with Derek Cooper, Coach Jones. Look, I think those that missed it, James Johnson interview was on Recruiting Breakdown. This is Derek Cooper, 6'1.5", 210. He's going to be 225 and is going to look really, really like a running back should in the uniform. I'm just going to tell you that. But the James Johnson interviews was part of the Recruiting Breakdown yesterday. Sarah O commented on that if you haven't seen it. I think there's some similarities with Derek Cooper and James Johnson for me in that it's the same thing we always talk about. And I'm not saying things can't change. It's the same thing we always talk about, though. Not every kid from Texas wants to stay in Texas for college. Some kids just want to go do something different. And I kind of think that's where both James Johnson and Derek Cooper currently are September 10th, 2025. And I think Miami was very competitive in that recruitment. Is very competitive in that recruitment before the decision to go commit to Texas. He will be in Austin September 20th for his official visit, Derek Cooper, with his family. That's the bye week for Chaminade Madonna. I think he'll be back in November for a game as well. I expect James Johnson back in a game in November as well. Diabell obviously be on campus. I'm going to see him this afternoon. I don't think we're actually going to have rain today. And I think there's another Florida kid or two that's going to show up in Austin in November. Just remember, I told you guys that. So we'll talk more about that. But Derek Cooper, incredible kid, man. Like, he is a Bobby, and we talk about it. These are guys. There's some Cedric Baxter similarities with him as far as they're different as players. What I'm talking as far as leadership. Derek Cooper, he'll play linebacker, he'll play safety, he'll rush off the – he'll do whatever he needs to help his high school team, and he'll be a leader doing it. I think there's some similarities with him and Cedric Baxter, and he talked about Cedric Baxter, how Cedric Baxter and other kids from Florida being happy at Texas positively impacted his decision with Texas, and he loves Chad Scott. So that'll all be in the video interview coming up here later. I think you guys will like hearing from Coach Jones on Derek Cooper and Diabell and Derek Cooper himself.
I'm all in on guys that want to try to be a leader on the team.
Yes.
And if they come in with that attitude at the outset, it generally ends up working out for them.
Yeah.
Because people that are talented, you always, and Rod Babers talks about this a lot, and I agree with him. You want your best players to also be your leaders. That's reality, because then what they say carries more weight. You can't just have the third team offensive guard be the leader of the team. It just doesn't work that way. The best leaders are always the best players. So I'm excited if he wants to come along and try to do that. I was a little disappointed. I want to know what his back plate was going to say today.
I know, me too.
Yeah. I want to know what. Did you ask him about it?
I think it was going to say OU sucks. But I think Tony Hill sent him a back plate.
Oh gosh.
And oatmeal cream. But no, that's a recruiting violation.
Hey Jerry, are you going to tell us what you mentioned, some other possible players in Florida that Texas might be looking into? Are you care to share positions, or you just want to leave that quiet for right now?
Gonna leave it quiet for right now, but I think people in the chat are smart.
Okay. All right.
Okay. By the way, we did have a question I was going to bring up. Somebody asked about a kid that I'm a huge fan of. Does Texas still have any interest in Joel Irvin, the offensive tackle at Fort Myers, who I saw when I went to see Kendall Gerville? And Joel Irvin, I think, is a stud. He's committed to Miami. He's really underrated. Some people are starting to rank him higher. I've not heard that Texas is still in contact there. Malachi Lee is who their number one is at offensive line that they're going after.
Beyond their commitments, obviously.
Yeah. And we have while we're on recruiting, even though it's basketball, Antoine has asked any timeline on Gooseby or Ogden, Jared.
Yeah, look, I don't think Ogden will go to November. The early signing period, I don't know the date right now. Somebody in the chat may know it for basketball. It's early November. Gooseby still has visits to. He doesn't have one this weekend. He's at Baylor and then BYU, and that's it for his OVs. I still think that's Texas versus Duke at the end of the day. Miami, SMU, they're all making it very competitive. BYU will certainly do that. But I do think this will come down to Texas and Duke for Austin Gooseby. I think Texas is a pretty big leader over Purdue for Bo Ogden, but Purdue just done a great job in that recruitment because Matt Painter obviously is a stud in this business at this point. But I think Texas is in a really good spot with Ogden, and I think we'll I think Texas is right there with Gooseby. I also think the 5-star big that was in last weekend, Cameron Williams, he had a great visit. His little brothers love Texas, love Texas. If you go to his Instagram, one of his little brothers was wearing a Trevor Gooseby jersey. So I think the Goosebees and Williams hit it off pretty well. But he is a big-time guy. Texas has some big-time visitors coming in the next 3 weeks, too. So it'll be a 2 or 3 man high school class. I think a couple of guards and then a big or best available if they go to 3 in the high school class.
Oh, okie doke. And then, so we've had a few people ask about the Witten kid. Do you have anything on him, Jerry?
Cooper Witten, I actually DM'd with him. That's the son of obviously some former tight end from the Cowboys. He DM'd me, or we were DMing a couple of weeks ago, and he said he plans to get to a Texas game this year. Now, where will that go? I mean, look, obviously his dad was a really good player at Tennessee, right? I mean, we all know that. Where will he did not visit Texas this summer. So where is Texas really at? I think Texas will get a visit from him this season, and we'll see where it goes. But he's a tremendous player. I mean, he's a tremendous player. I mean, look, he may run in the 10.6, 10.5, 10.7 range this spring. I mean, he hit sub 11 as a freshman at 200 pounds. So he's one of the elite linebackers. Rodney Waits here while we're on recruiting. Any prospects out of Missouri City on the radar? Chris Stewart, obviously, I call it Missouri City because Pearland Shadow Creek's spillover from Missouri City. People had to find houses to live in outside of Missouri City. It got so big. Chris Stewart obviously committed there. I mean, Joseph Adai's kid is a stud. 2028 at Shadow Creek as well. Ridge Point's got a lot of players, and nobody Texas has offered, but that's where a lot of the ex-NFL players, ex-pro athletes live down Sienna in that area. So those kids are coming up through Ridge Point right now. I saw Fort Bend Marshall a couple of Fridays ago. They have a couple of young kids, but not guys I thought were locks for a Texas offer. So we'll see where it goes. Right now, there's nobody that Texas is, I think, offered. Now, they just offered, not Missouri City, they just offered the 2028 offensive lineman out of in Cyprus. It's a stud. And now he's kind of Missouri City because he plays AAU basketball with TJ Fort's younger teams, but he is going to be one of the top offensive linemen in the country in 2028.
How tall is Cooper Witten?
6'1.5", maybe 6'2", about 210.
Looks, he plays a little bit like is Nick Townsend.
He's a dude
on offense and defense.
Yep. Somebody's asking about Trent Henderson. By the way, he's no longer at Pensacola Catholic. He's at Pine Forest. I think that's early high school graduation thing. I think he's solidly committed to LSU right now. I know Florida and Texas are remaining on him. And again, for somebody like that, I'm going to see if he actually shows up. Des Garrett, you hit it. I missed one. Des, you got it. Des wins. Well, Texas will stay on Trenton Henderson. Dude, I totally whiffed. Des Garrett, you're a stud. The kid from Crawford, Alvin Mosley, has a Texas offer, and he is damn good at 2027 receiver. Thank you, Des. You win today. The new school, Crawford in Arcola, Missouri City, that kid's a stud. He's also got D1 basketball offers. He's a big-time wide receiver prospect. Thank you, Des. I owe you.
Jerry, sticking with recruiting for a minute. LSU, Florida this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Texas has battled quite a bit with Florida in the state of Florida, even in the state of Georgia for players last year.
Yeah.
Right. Is Billy Napier a guy that if he gets let go, you all of a sudden see a very large, I don't want to say exodus from the Florida program?
Good question.
But is he someone that you could see maybe causing a ripple in the transfer portal, one, and then in recruiting the high school kids too? Yeah,
that's interesting. I don't know if I have the answer on that. I do, I will say this. There's players. What'll be interesting if Billy Napier loses his job this year. What does a Dallas Wilson do? the 5-star receiver that they signed. I mean, everybody's going to talk about what's Lagway going to do. People at A&M will be predicting Lagway is going to transfer there or something. But what's a Dallas Wilson do? I mean, that was a guy Texas tried to get on campus and loved him out of high school. And he should be back off injury. I'm not sure if he's playing this week or next week to make his college debut, but he was a stud in the spring for them. He's a difference maker. So what's a guy like that going to do? I don't know if I have that answer, Bobby. The hard thing with all this is, for me, is how quickly do you make a hire and who is that hire? Because we only have one portal window now from January 2nd to the 10th, right?
Yep.
So you better have your hire pretty quick.
But I will say this: if you fire a coach or let go of a coach,
that's 30 days.
The 30 days automatically starts still. I don't think that rule has changed.
So if they fired him after November 29th, say, or something like that, that next week, does the 30 days start then or after a new coach is hired?
But it starts then.
Okay.
You have a 30-day open from the time of the firing, not from the time of the hiring.
Yeah.
My question though is, what are there a half dozen players that Texas recruited to get, like Hezzy Kent?
Oh yeah.
Kendall Gerville.
Yes.
Those kinds of guys. I mean, they're still recruiting some other players at Texas. I just wondered.
Yeah. Yeah. Good question. So their commitments in 2026. So in Texas didn't offer this guy, but there is defensive back that they took a long look at. Now, the Carson Baker, the running back from Fairburn and Langston Hughes, Fairburn, Georgia, Langston Hughes. That was a kid that Chad Scott offered. Jeraylin McCoy, the big defensive lineman from Tupelo, unofficial visit to Texas in the spring. CJ Hester, safety corner, a guy that Texas went to see in May but didn't offer him out of Cocoa High in Florida, committed to Florida. To your point, there's a number of guys on their commit list that either Texas had offered or, you mentioned Hezzy Kent. There's KJ Ford at Duncanville. Texas never really made a push for. Davian Gross, Texas never really made a push for. And then there's the speedy corner at Windermere, CJ Bernal. And I know Texas went by to see him in May, but that really didn't go anywhere. So we'll see. But I think there's 5 or 6 guys on that 26 commit list that Texas has liked. Whether they offered them or made big pushes for them is kind of a little different.
All right, guys, we have Tony Hills joining us here in just a moment. But first, we're going to do an ad read real quick. Bobby, I'm going to start with you and let you tell everyone this morning about Vaughn Lane.
Yeah, this fall, the biggest games and events are calling, and Vaughn Lane is the best way to get there. Skip the airport stress, forget the long, exhausting drive. Instead, step aboard a Vaughn Lane motor coach where every seat is first class. Just 22 oversized leather seats with 140-degree recline, leg rests, and personal space you won't find anywhere else. Your onboard attendant serves complimentary snacks, beverages, and on select trips, full meals so you can arrive refreshed and ready for kickoff, the concert, or the race. Booking is now open through November. Lock in your seat for Texas OU in Dallas, F1 and ACL in Austin, or big football weekends in Houston, Dallas, Nashville, Fort Worth, wherever you might be going. Vaughn Lane connects Austin, Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Nashville, Atlanta, Memphis, and now new routes include Knoxville, the Woodlands, and Plano. Reserve your ride today at vaughnlane.com and use promo code OTF25 to save $20 on your first trip. Vaughn Lane, your private jet on wheels. Thank you so much for sponsoring On Texas Football.
And Tony Hills, I hope you're listening for this next ad read because you need to hear it. Jerry, tell us about Tushy.
It's time for me to get a little pushy with the Tushy here at On Texas Football, guys. A-hole, balloon knot, fart box, wrinkle, leather Cheerio, cornhole, mud button. They're only dirty words if you wipe. Men will laugh about farts until the day we die, but the second we need to talk to a doctor about our bottom half, we clam up. Bidets normalize talking about your bottom health while making bathroom visits so much more comfortable. Men will life hack everything but their toilet paper consumption. Using a Tushy bidet means you leave the bathroom so much cleaner than when you walked in. Let's get into that. Hey, They sent me my tushy. Okay, I got it in the mail before I left for Florida. I'm going to get that bad boy working when I get back. All right, that's something you need to know. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. It instantly modernizes your daily routine and bathroom with a super sleek seat plus 2 separate front and rear nozzles for the most complete clean. 2 rear nozzles to clean your Tushy. That sounds like a winner. This is daily decadence with practical benefits. Over half the people who wash with their Tushy soothe their hemorrhoids, and 9 out of 10 people reduce itching and discomfort. That's you, Florida Gator fans. And you're going to need Tushy headed into Baton Rouge. Let me tell you that. All right, guys, remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code ONTexas at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code ONTexas. Beat that, Tony Hills. Tony Hills, beat that.
Good morning, Tony.
Yo, I am over here crying right now. Listen, if OTF and coffee and football fans do not understand that there is no place that we're willing not to go in order to make this thing work, we are willing to travel to the bottom, literally. So shout out to OTF. What up, coffee and football? You know what time it is. It's your man, Tony the Tycoon. And I'm mobile today. I'm up and at it. What's happening?
Yeah. How do you follow that up, Tony? You better bring the game today.
Listen, man, I can't follow it up, man. When you said daily decadence, I lost it. Listen, my eyes are red, not from crying from sadness. I'm crying from laughter. That is ridiculous. Daily decadence. I will say this, though. There is a market for people that are dealing with hemorrhoids that would much rather them to be soothed. So shout out to finding a problem and fixing it. There's nothing that you can't make money on in this place called America. I promise you that.
But Billy Napier may have a few of those right now that he's dealing with after this week.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, offensive line performance on Saturday. Wanted to get your take on that, if you don't mind. Longhorns seem to have some problems getting the run game going, and then, San Jose State decided to try to rush the passer. They had some miscues in pass protection. All in all, what was your takeaway on the offensive line on Saturday?
Yeah, I thought they actually took a step backwards, and I'm wondering if they were playing to their competition as opposed to playing to their standard. That's really my take from it. If I had to give a grade on it just because of the opponent and what I was expecting to see, I'd probably say that they were probably like a C. Honestly, there's no way that Archie should be touched in a game like that. That's a game where I'm expecting in a game like that you go out and you exert your dominance on a team that is inferior to you. And make no mistake about it, I understand San Jose State, they came out there, they played hard, but when it comes to the talent pool of what Texas is versus them, there's no question about it. And for you not to go out there and utterly destroy that particular team, like Bobby, when we played, there was things called stat games. You would circle games on the calendar because you knew, hey, look, we're going to be out by the first half. That was the dominance that we expected to have when we walked into stadiums. And so I'm not particularly happy with the turnout. Glad that we got the win, of course, but they gotta shore that up and they gotta get better quick.
Hey Tony, the follow up to that is Steve Sarkisian mentioned it, so you're not different than what Steve Sarkisian is perhaps thinking. What he said was different, however, was that San Jose State was quicker than Ohio State, who had those big bodies in there because they have to do something different to compete, right?
Yeah.
And it took a while for Texas, he thought, the offensive line to kind of understand what San Jose State was trying to do. Do you what does that mean to you? Is that a legitimate statement by the head coach, or do you question it a little bit? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you watch film, you see the type of player. That's the whole thing about film watching and player study. To be able to see what caliber of player you're playing, you study that. Is this a heavier guy? Is he a slow twitch guy? Is he a fast twitch guy? What is your game plan going into the game, right? Like, listen, they're athletes. They're going to be athletes anywhere that you play. You're going to see quicker guys when you play A&M. You're gonna see quicker guys when you play Baylor. I mean, not Baylor, but when you play Georgia, right? You're gonna see quicker guys. So the fact that, to me, it sounds as though, I'm just gonna keep it at 100. That sounds like an excuse.
Okay.
There's no other way that I can say it. That sounds like an excuse. That person's athletic ability doesn't dictate what I'm supposed to do on the field. I got a job to do. Get the job done. Right? So that's the whole reason why you practice. You grab guys on your Colin Simmons and guys of that nature that have the similar body type. You grab those individuals after practice and you work on sets, you work on angles. If you have a faster guy and you're not as athletic as that particular person, then angles is the thing that beats them. Being able to understand, okay, I need the vertical set on these drop back plays. I need the wide angle, 45 angle set on these particular plays. I might want to throw out a jump set here to be able to get him off his path and widen the pocket. Like you have a pass protection plan. That's what you do. Like I can't go with, oh, they were a little quicker. That was why the reason they gave us trouble. No, we didn't do it. We didn't get the job done. We'll be better next week. That's the only thing that I want to hear.
Hey, Tony, I think one of the things I brought up was, when I watched the San Jose State game, then you listen to Sark, the teams that don't have the big, large humans, I think they're all going to copy what Arizona State did against Texas last year. And I feel like San Jose State tried to implement the same things, because you can't match man on man, right? From a physical size and strength standpoint. I think teams that are going to copy what Arizona State did against Texas last year until it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, they will, but here's the thing. Here's the counter to that. When you look at, they showed the chart. When you look at the difference between size within the trenches, it was like a 40 to 50 pound difference.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is, okay, then look, if they want to try to match speed with our strength, then we're going to stay in the strength space and lean on them for 4 quarters. And then what'll happen is, they'll have some plays, they'll have some success, because it's early, and the run game it's a feel thing. It's a dominance thing, but it's a feel thing, especially for the running backs, right? To be able to see the hole clearly, for the holes to open up. And then what you end up finding is that people are human. So if you're having to hold up 50 pounds more than you for 3.5 quarters, what you start to see is the point of attack starts to get softer. And when you start putting bigger backs in there, now all of a sudden, all of that hype and getting hitting your helmet and beating your chest starts to look like hands on the hips and tapping your helmet to get off the field, because you're so goddamn tired and you're not making the tackles because you're arm tackling now. That's how run game works. It's an attitude thing. When you talk about some of the best run teams, the teams that have some of the best run games in college football, it's not because it's a schematic thing. It's an attitude thing. This is an identity thing. Like, I don't give a damn who you are, what your defense is. We're going to punch you in the mouth until you quit, period. That's run football. You can have all the fancy schemes that you want, but at the end of the day, it's me versus you. I'm winning, period. That's the run game. Now, in the pass game, it's a little different. You know, you can get fancy, play a little Madden football, run this guy here, do this guy like that. But in the run game, it's me and you. I win every time.
Hey, Tony, not just offensive alignment. What's an area you want to see improvement this weekend against UTEP?
I want to see consistency. I just want to see consistency throughout the whole team, because listen, I know the defense only gave up 7 points, but look, there was plays that were made in that game by San Jose State that were simple errors, coverage areas, not getting to the quarterback as often as we would have liked to. Like, I want Texas to do to the teams the things that they're supposed to do to those type of teams. That's what I want to see. That's the area of improvement.
The standard.
And yeah. Handle your business. Period. Like, dominate. If you have national championship aspirations, this is okay. I hate to say this, because I loathe this team. I just loathe the whole state. So if you're from there, sorry for you. But when you look at what Oklahoma did to Michigan, that's dominance. It's dominance. And you got to keep it 100. If you remove the fandom and just look at it from a football perspective, that was dominance. That's what I want to see from us. And we're capable of doing that, but we got to get there. We got to get there fast, because when we get into SEC play, You cannot have those type of errors. And we dang sure can't have excuses about the personnel. We just can't do it.
Hey, Tony, we got a couple of super chats for you this morning. This first one from Rocky P says, Tony Hills, this is for your oatmeal cream pie fund.
Man,
on the offensive line. How hard is it for linemen to transition from a pocket passer like Quinn to a mobile quarterback like Arch? Also, it's 8:45-ish and
OU still sucks. But yeah, listen. So the thing is it's not that difficult because that's what OTAs, training camp, and all of those things are for. You understand the type of passer and the type of player that Arch is. And I've talked about this before. The differences are this. Usually with a pocket passer, you can be more consistent with the way that you set because you know where they're going to be every single time. You know, if it's a 4-step drop, they're planting that back foot and they're firing the ball. Everything is a timing thing. So you set versus a timing situation. When you have an individual that's athletic like Arch, you just stay on your particular man until the play is done because you never know where he's going to be. Right. So I would say that that's the difference. But it doesn't matter. Here's the thing that I need everybody to understand. And especially now in college football, I was equating this to professional ball, but I'm equating to college football now because they're getting paid. You're literally paid to do a job. Get the damn job done. That's what it is. Like, get the job done. Period.
And then we got one other one for you this morning from Joshy Manning. He says, question for Tony, Neto or Stroh?
I'll say this. Stroh has shown to be the more consistent left guard. He gets the most movements. And the fact, and it has to be something there because Neto was penciled in as the starter and now they're splitting time. And I'm starting to see Big 7-9 out there a lot more. So, you know, I without me knowing what's happening inside of that room, just based off what I see on game day, it seems that they're moving in that particular direction. And I can't say that I blame them because in Ohio State, the Ohio State game, I was able to watch them pretty solidly because when they took Neto out, I was like, okay, well, who is this kid? He had a hell of a game. And quiet as kept, he was one of the bright spots in last week's game as well. This kid moves people. He moves people, and so I'm going to say right now, at least these past 2 weeks, it looks like Straw is the guy.
Yeah. Hey Tony, thank you so much, bud. I appreciate you. We've got you penciled in again next week. Thanks for everything you do. You have any thoughts? Final thoughts before we let you go this morning?
Yeah, man. Final thought is this. I was listening to Stoic philosophy. And one of the things that it said is you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you find strength. Now, that is very philosophical. But at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with the fact that it's 8:56 and OU still stuck. Hook 'em for life. That's my final thought. Let's go, Texas. Handle our business versus UTEP. And I need everybody that's listening. So if you ever see me have an oatmeal pie ready for your guy, I need that in my life. That's all. Y'all give me that. Y'all make me a happy man.
Do you want the Tushy read next week?
You know what? After an oatmeal pie, you might need the Tushy read.
I'll let you know later.
All right, brother. Hook 'em, man.
Tony, take care of yourself, bro. It's Stoic philosophy. Tony always brings something unique to the table. Stoic philosophy today. I wonder, like, there are certain people you wonder what's on their bookshelf. You know, what are they reading currently? I can only imagine the variety on Tony Hill's bookshelf.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We got super chats to jump into, so let's just go full steam ahead there. And let's see here. This is an interesting one before we really get into football talk. Juan Garza, Bobby, Jerry, how would you have handled the Phillies Karen situation? and I'd like to hear your answer too, Blake. Y'all's
I have
thought.
no idea what we're talking about here.
So the woman that stole the ball from the man, and the man
Oh!
gave it back, or he took it. I don't know. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I saw that. Look, anybody that wants to take a ball from a kid, if you're, give me a break. I would have, yeah, it would have been.
I will just say this.
I would have been aggressive.
In my day, in my time going to the Astrodome and chasing foul balls, that was fair game because it wasn't in her lap. It wasn't in her seat.
Right.
If it had been in her lap or in her seat, then you don't put, but that was in the seat in front of her. That's not her. That's not hers. So that's how I would react to that. So I think that, although I'm not into this whole, labeling people this or that, look, the dude got the ball fair and square as far as I'm concerned, and he gave it to the kid. So that's how that should work.
Yeah.
Personally, that's how I personally feel.
Whole deal. That's the whole deal.
Yeah. I'm with y'all on that one. I wouldn't have given it back to the lady by any means.
Well, I may have given it back to her if she was having that big of a hit. Go buy my son his own ball. At some point, it's not worth it to fight that kind of stuff. It's just not.
All right, Sean with the super chat says OU Texas has a chance to be a top 10 matchup, first since 2008.
If Texas takes care of business and OU takes care of business against Auburn, it will be.
So, Blake, that's a good time to bring up our schedule for this week.
Yeah, we can take a look at opponents. Let me bring that up here. Starting with OU at Temple, 11 a.m. Georgia and Tennessee, obviously one of the bigger ones, along with Texas A&M and Notre Dame. Florida and LSU are probably the three that stand out the most, fellas. But there you go. Texas 8 SEC opponents and who they're playing this week.
By the way, poor Oklahoma has to go play at Temple. Like, talk about a game you're not going to be emotionally up for. There's one. And they have to travel to Temple to play.
What was Joe Castiglione thinking when he?
I have no idea, man. That is so odd. Temple should be paying $750 to come back and get another butt kicking. We talked about Georgia at Tennessee. Tennessee, there's 2 starting corners to start the season out this game, including Jamad McCoy, who was a preseason All-American from White House High, same high school as Pat Mahomes, by the way. Georgia played last week without the Ernest Green and Juan Gaston, 2 starters on the offensive line. We'll see if those guys are back. Mississippi State, biggest win for them in a while. Arkansas at Ole Miss is going to be interesting this weekend. Where's Arkansas? Nobody knows. Where's Arkansas really at right now? Well, you're going to find out this week. Obviously, the next two games are the big ones. A&M at Notre Dame. A&M will leave South Bend knowing exactly where they're at as a team. They have 2 games under their belt against decent G5 opponents, UTSA and Utah State. Now you go play at Notre Dame, who had an off week, by the way, which probably came at a perfect time after a very physical Notre Dame game, Miami game. But that's a night game in South Bend. A&M will know exactly where they're at. Then we're going to find out a lot about Florida, where they're not. I think okay, where they're at in a way after the USF loss, but where are they at in their locker room? You're going to find out about Florida this Saturday. LSU lost their center last week. I don't know if he's playing this week. That's actually an impactful loss for them. Florida played the first 2 games without Banks, Caleb Banks, their best D tackle. I think they're getting him back for LSU. He had 7 tackles and a sack against LSU last year. Caleb Banks did not play in that USF game, and he is a projected first, second round pick. He's a big guy to get back for Florida. How much does that impact them, especially if LSU's center is out this game? That's an interesting game within the game matchup that could be very impactful in this game. But where's Florida's locker room at? That's what I'm looking for. Are they going to come out Saturday and show some serious resiliency? If they don't, then that's going to be kind of telling about Florida's season, I think, because LSU they can bring it on defense. They got the right guys in the portal. Blake Baker's system now has the pass rushers and the speed it needs. Harold Perkins is back to being a flying around the field type of guy. And then that last game, Bobby, Vandy at South Carolina. South Carolina's offensive line has not looked good this year. I don't think they have enough around Lenore Sellers this is a big opportunity for Vanderbilt. If Diego Pavia, if Vandy goes in and wins this game, and I'm not saying they're a contender in the SEC, but if they go in and beat South Carolina, they're probably going to win 8 games this year, because that would be wins at Virginia Tech and South Carolina back-to-back. So we'll see what happens.
There's 4 good games this week in the SEC. Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, Florida, South Carolina, Vandy, and then A&M, Notre Dame. Those are the 4 marquee games this week, no doubt about it. So you will see whether or not South Carolina is legit, in my opinion, or Vanderbilt's legit, because I feel like it's not just South Carolina's offensive line that has issues. I think it's their defense that has some issues. They lost a lot on that side of the ball last year, especially up front. And when you're defending Vanderbilt with this option offense of theirs, that can be exploited. With LSU, Florida, I don't know if Clemson's not for real and LSU is, or vice versa still. And I don't know if Billy Napier is just on his way out. I mean, he gave up, Billy Napier calls plays for Florida on offense, by the way. And so he gave an impassioned speech, not really, because he doesn't really sound impassioned when he talks. But he talked about not giving up play calling duties. Okay. He's not Steve Sarkisian, guys. I mean, he's not some offensive genius. And so we'll see. He's not giving them up. We'll see what happens against LSU. Notre Dame, A&M. Notre Dame favored by roughly a touchdown? Is that accurate?
6.5, I think.
Yeah, in South Bend. If A&M doesn't win this game, for whatever reason, I think there are going to be some doubters in College Station, because A&M in the second year should be ready to go against a first-year starting quarterback at Notre Dame. I feel that way, especially with what they did and how much they spent in the portal with Concepcion, Craver, those guys, to add to Marcel Reed. As it relates to Georgia, Tennessee, I'm not convinced Georgia's going to score 24 points a game in the SEC this year. And I think that you score 24 points a game in the SEC, you probably go 7-2 or 6-2.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I mean, I think you guys score 24 points a game in this league. So
the other thing with A&M, if they showed signs of not being great against the run. Now, they played 2 opponents they knew they were going to beat, eventually wear them down and beat. Yeah. This is a huge test for them this week against Jeremiah Love and those guys running the football. If A&M does not look good playing the run, then their schedule looks a lot tougher for A&M fans in this league.
That's what I think too. That's what I'm getting at. If they're not ready for this, it doesn't bode well for them.
All right, fellas, before we move on, Jerry, I'm going to let you tell everyone about Gooder.
I love telling about good. My Gooders are in the car this week because they are very much needed this week in the sunshine. So even though it's been raining in the afternoon, the drive, it's sunny, it's looking better today. Stylish sunnies starting at only $25 a pair. You'll see a lot of Gooders on Bevo Boulevard, by the way. I think CDC has some. 1-year warranty, 30-day free returns, lightweight and comfortable, 100% polarized, no slip, no bounce. From vibrant colors to sleek styles, there are a pair of Gooders for every personality in the big world. Designed for both everyday wear and active individuals that love to run, hike, bike, and much, much more. So that leads you to asking, when do you wear your Gooder sunnies? On a run, playing pickleball, on a hike, playing tennis, going to the beach. That's a Florida thing to do. Watching college football with a UV index of 8 or 9. Woof. Better have your Gooders on Saturday and DKR because they're so affordable. You don't have to worry about losing or breaking them. You can have a pair for every single occasion. If you need a new pair of sunnies, Gooder is giving On Texas football listeners free shipping. You can go to gooder.com/OnTexas and use that code On Texas, all caps, for free shipping. They offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. I have to read it. And 100% satisfaction. I guarantee that. Again, that's gooder.com/OnTexas and use that code for free shipping.
Thank you for that. And I'm going to tell everyone about Prize Picks this morning. I mean, gotta love Prize Picks. We make decisions daily, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And with football now here, it's time to make that money. Prize Picks is very simple. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get those picks right, you cash in, you win up to 2,000 times your money. It's the best way to get in on sports action in more than 40 states, including California, Georgia, Florida, and of course, right here in the great state of Texas. And Prize Picks has the NFL. They have college football. They have just about any and every sport. I'm on some NFL action due to their max discount of Travis Kelce. You see it on the screen there. He just needs more than half a yard. So that's it. I added that along with Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley to score at least once. So come join me on those picks or make your own in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And that's Prize Picks. Run your game. Well, let's go back to some more super chats this morning because we have a few more of those. Jerry Jack Links, thank you once again, says Parker Living Rock is currently wide receiver number 1 for Arch. Do y'all see him finishing the season as wide receiver 1?
I disagree with this, but go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, I think you're disagreeing with the supposition that he's currently wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
I think that I would agree with Jerry. I mean, he's performed like wide receiver 1, but that doesn't necessarily make him wide receiver 1. Now, give me 5 more games, half a season, and then let's talk. And I'll say this, we've got to remember against Ohio State. Ohio State came out and said it. We doubled Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore.
Yeah.
Just put that in your box, okay? And understand that that's part of the equation here. Now, at the same time, Parker Livingston went out and made a hell of a play against Ohio State.
Yeah.
Then he came back and made a couple of nice plays against San Jose State. I'm not going to be disappointed if he's wide receiver number 1 in game 6 or 7. But if he becomes that, then watch for Ryan Wingo to stop being double covered. And then we'll see how that ends up. So my point is, it's not so much about who wide receiver 1 is as much as it is the passing game working. That's what we want to see, whether it's Wingo or Livingston or Moore or Mosley or McCutcheon or Lockett. Get the ball in the hands of your wide receivers so they can make yards after catch. That's what, especially on crossing routes. If I'm asking for anything this week from Arch, more accuracy on crossing routes, better timing. That's the one throw I haven't seen him make with regularity that I like.
Yeah.
Every other throw I've liked.
Yeah.
I think we got a super chat from Blake May. Thank you, Blake. He said, I saw this question yesterday. I wanted to ask all of you. Will Arch have a better Texas career than Quinn? Better team success? Arch versus Quinn career numbers? Quinn set some big milestones. Hook 'em.
I don't think Arch is going to have the career numbers because I don't think Arch is going to start more than 2 years, guys. I think he's going to be here for 2 years.
Yeah.
Quinn started for 3. So take career numbers out of it. I think he can definitely have a better season than Quinn had overall from a stat perspective because he's more I think from what I've seen, he's more of a durable build than Quinn. So he's going to play. Theoretically, he should play in 12 to 15 or 16 games if Texas goes that far. Whereas Quinn was always out 3 to 4 games a year, at least. Right? So I think he'll have, from a season perspective, he'll have bigger ones. He'll have bigger seasons. It's my opinion.
The next super chat this morning from Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. He says you were all skeptical when I predicted 250,000 subs by the end of October. He says he has confidence in OTF.
Let's go. Let's do it.
And then one other one here from Antonio. Antonio says, I love Wingo, but I may be a little different coming into the season. Kind of wanted more to have a breakout season. What are y'all's thoughts? Hook 'em.
Yeah, look, I think DeAndre Moore is a tremendous football player, and I think hopefully, I mean, just a week thing for him here. I think he has a chance to have a really good season at Texas. Again, it's like Bobby mentioned in the question earlier about Parker Livingston. Ohio State ran doubles at Wingo and DeAndre Moore. I think DeAndre Moore, he is so sneaky. And that's going to show up as the season moves along. He is really sneaky getting behind people. He is such a smooth route runner, such a good double route runner. He had an excellent catch on the right sideline. And what was that? Was that in the early third quarter of the game Saturday, Chad? I can't remember when that was. I was doing the watch with us.
I think it was in the third quarter.
Tremendous catch on the sidelines, arms fully extended, really good timing. Got his eyes around with perfect time to make that play. A really good throw from Arch. It probably winced on that, but nobody caught that on the camera. But DeAndre Moore's a hell of a player. He's a hell of a leader, and I think he's going to have a really good season. I really do. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. But I will say this. I think people are going to game plan to take him out as much as possible because they know he's really consistently good.
And we'll stay on wide receivers for a moment here. Frank wants to know, how do you think Mosley will improve the offense?
I'll tell you one area. Blocking on the perimeter is a start. Like, I think, Bobby, I think he is a 6'2", 210-pound version of Jordan Whittington in a lot of ways. He's going to play a different position. But I think he is a physical guy. I think he's a guy that's going to really improve your blocking in the run game and on the perimeter, which I think is one of the areas that Texas offense is weakest right now, is blocking on the perimeter. And if they're going to have a horizontal screen passing game, a screen game, they're going to have to get a lot better blocking on the perimeter. I think he instantly improves you there. Now, maybe not instantly, he's still got to play, but he'll improve you there. And I just think from a toughness, catching the ball in traffic, a little bit like a running back after the catch, breaking an arm tackle and maximizing. I think he's probably faster than given credit for. He gets behind. He's like DeAndre Moore. He finds a way to get behind people, and he'll make the 50-50 catch. I think he's a big addition to this team. Honestly.
He's got a good catch radius, Jerry.
Yeah.
You go back to that. We talked about the throw to Aaron Butler up the seam. That's a catch that someone with a larger catch radius might make.
Yeah.
Right. And Mosley would be one of those guys. So I think that Mosley or Lockett, right? So you're talking about a person with a really good catch radius. You know, I just don't know that we're going to see him this week right now. I mean, I think that they're hopeful they get him back by Florida.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful they get him back by next week.
Same. I'd love to see him get 10, 15 snaps against Sam Houston, at least get his
right.
feet.
But I don't. I mean, I was talking to someone. I just don't know that.
I know.
I think they're going to. I think Texas, if I'm counting right, I think Texas will be without 6 guys, and they're too deep, potentially, for Saturday. I think in erring on the side of caution, which is what Sark said he was going to try to do, Jerry and Blake, in Monday's presser.
Yeah,
I could see 6 guys not participating because of lingering injury type stuff. We'll see if it gets to that high a number, but it would not surprise me.
Blake, I want to bring this question up because I'm not sure we've really addressed this. Dave Ashley, I brought this up earlier. What are your takes on the one-time portal in January? Bobby, I don't think we've had a discussion on this. From a coaching standpoint, I love it for them. And that's the UTEP coach was talking about this yesterday in his press conference. I totally agree. The coaches were totally against a spring portal window. He was like, and this is where I agree with him. In the spring, he's like, we have spring practice. I want to know, he said, as coaches, we want to know this is our team. And after spring practice, you have 15 guys jump in the portal right away. And for them, it's guys that have good spring practices at UTEP, right? If somebody has a really good spring practice, they get recruited to the portal. I think it's very healthy for college football to only have the one portal period. And I'd have never liked the spring portal period because these guys you do have to there has to be an element of know who your team is.
Yeah. Sark said he advocated for it being one time a year and only after winter at some point. Right. I agree with Sark as well for the numbers you illuminated there or elucidated. I would say or add this. If we're going to see that, okay, I hope that we see better football as a result of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like, and Sark mentioned this too, as he was going through the channels on Saturday after the game and watching a little football, he saw some similarities to his own team and other teams out there as far as not being sharp, you know? So I hope we see as a part of this, a byproduct is better brand of football. The other thing that just floors me is apparently the only league that was against this move of one portal window only was the Big Ten. And the Big Ten did so because they wanted, allegedly, to make sure the kids had a full academic year. Well, what I really believe it to be is they had set up their contracts with players to be through the end of the year. And so they were looking for a way to kind of shoehorn that in. That's my humble take on that. But it was just bizarre that no football coach would want to be changing rosters after April. Not one.
Yeah, and the thing I really truly despise about the spring portal window is the quarterback movement and how that really changes a team's season.
Oh,
I mean, it really can change a team's season, and it's out of your control. And I think that is total BS. And I'm glad it's a January window now, because look, if a quarterback has a really good year at a smaller school, and then, okay, well, in the spring, we need a quarterback. All right, let's just go pay this guy $3 million and just rips him off the team. That really, and I think it goes to the point of Sark and kind of your point too, Bobby, although I think we're at the Blue Bloods, we're changing a third of the roster every year. So it's going to take these kids time. It's going to be more like basketball teams rounding into shape versus what we've seen in football over the years. But the quarterback thing, just getting your quarterback ripped from you. Like if you're at Major Applewhite at South Alabama and Gio Lopez is a really good quarterback for you and you start to build something and then he walks on you in the spring, that's where it's BS. So I'm glad that the spring portal window's gone.
I think Tennessee's happy the spring portal came. I mean, look, they may have got the better trade after all that hubbub. Jeff Carey, a few financial angles. A 10% transfer fee? Like, that sounds like a very soccerish thing to do that I don't think needs to come to the United States. Also, Texas has no income tax, so higher after-tax income. That is certainly true. Some states have even tried to say NIL isn't taxed for state income tax. Georgia made that a reality last fall, I think, or this past fall. I don't know. Whatever. I don't think transfer fees for universities are the answer. I disagree with that.
All right, Bobby, one more time. Tell us about Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm, please, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've been injured in a car wreck, truck wreck, automobile accident of any kind and think you might be due compensation, make sure you reach out to Adam Lowy and his team at Lowy Law Firm. Adam's a UT Law School grad. He's been helping injured Texans for 20-plus years. He'll give you a free, no-strings-attached consultation to see if you and yours might be due compensation. All you need to do, reach out to Lowy lawfirm.com. Adam, thank you very much for your support of On Texas Football.
Hey, by the way, to your point, Bobby, and I'm not, because I think it's more than the kid itself. I mean, how bad because Archer brought it up, how bad does Nico look right now? He's on a team that got blown out by Utah and lost to UNLV. And he obviously, you said it's not a good team. It's actually made him look even worse. And it's crazy to me that the people around him have put him in this position. He was in a better spot than where he went to. That's kind of some of the point of all this too is, and yes, I think it's worked out. It's going to work out for Tennessee because I think it's the people around Nico, and they put him in a worse spot.
Yeah,
hope they enjoy it.
Just desserts. Lost a couple $1,000,000 and more than that maybe. Yeah. Hey, go back to that. What Sarah O put up there. Let's give the ladies a shout out here. Because I think, Sarah O said Texas volleyball tonight versus number 4 Louisville. It'll be at 8:00 Central on ESPN. Texas volleyball, I think, ranked number 2 in the country right now as well. If you're jonesing for some sports action that involves the Longhorns tonight, check that out. I talked to a guy, or I got a text from someone that went to the volleyball game on Sunday, and he said it was the best volleyball game he's ever been to. They were down 10-5 in the 5th set and still came back to win 18-16. The crowd was super, 11,000 people nearly in Moody. So let's hopefully Jarrett Elliott, it's a rebound season for Texas because they did not have the year they wanted to last year.
By the way, there's been a lot of people ask about Sadir Mitchell, and Sadir Mitchell is the thing we talk about all the time. This is a talent maximization contest for these kids. Sadir Mitchell's an incredibly talented kid. And probably in 15 years, unless things change, he's going to wake up one day and say, wow, I blew it. He's a really talented kid, but he is not. It's why you got to, what we talk about all the time, man. You got to go maximize talent.
Well, one last super chat before we get out of here. This one, another one from Antonio. Antonio, thank you once again. He says, taking a childhood A&M fan buddy to the Sam Houston State game next week. Needless to say, he's a UT fan now. Hope to see you guys there. Bucket list for them.
Hey, please come by the tailgate. We'll have a tailgate both at Sam Houston State as well as the game this weekend against UTEP. Just a reminder for you guys that are coming out to please join us. Blake, can you I think you may have the link in the chat, or I can put it on the message board as well over at On Texas Football. Also, we will be back out on Friday morning at Hayes City Store, or at least I will be, and then I'll have some lunch with folks out there, as well as with Travis, the owner of Hayes City Store. Come on out and join us. I had the truck stop enchiladas. I am going to switch this week, even though the truck stop enchiladas were good. The chicken fried chicken looked like $1,000,000 to be honest. So I'll be there. And then we're going over to the co-op at 3:00 on Friday as well. Come join us. We saw a bunch of folks out there, myself, Jerry, Rod. We had a good time. Support your team and the Longhorn students. Remember, with the co-op, every penny you spend at the co-op of profit goes directly to course material scholarships for UT students, either online or in person. So if you're ordering online, it's the very same thing. Each penny of profit goes directly to UT students. There is no better place than the co-op to buy your gear for the Longhorns and support the team.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football, presented by Adam Lowy and the Lowy Law Firm. We got to thank Adam, along with Tushy, can't forget them, Prize Picks, Vaughn Lane, and Gooder, all for sponsoring today's show. Bobby, what do you have for folks later today?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got State of the Program. Myself, Rod, Jerry going to get together, talk a little Longhorn football. Steve Sarkisian has his weekly teleconference, SEC teleconference at 12:30. And then also tonight, we have our live stream returning with CJ, Jeff, and Amanda Outwell. I hope they have another good show. Look, if there's anything you guys need or want from us, we're very happy about reaching 200,000 subscribers. There's no doubt about it, right? But if there's ever anything you want or need from us or think we should be doing differently, please feel free to reach out to us at Gmail, on our Gmail account, ontexasfootball@gmail.com. That's ontexasfootball@gmail.com. Our goal here is to strive to make this place a better place each and every day, and some place that everybody can feel their Longhorn fandom, if that makes sense, and enjoy themselves. So please give us a shout at ontexasfootball@gmail.com.
And a reminder that Derek Cooper and Coach Damian Jones interview from yesterday at Shaman Ramadan, I think producer Matt's going to put that up at some point today, so you can hear from Derek Cooper and his head coach, who also has gone up against Diabell for the last 4 years. And I'll be at American Heritage this afternoon. Just got text back from American Heritage coach. He's a great dude. I'm going to be there this afternoon. I think the weather's going to hold out. So we'll have a thread on ontexasfootball.com with photos and videos from Diabell, and then we'll do an interview with him as well.
Good stuff. Don't forget to head on over to the OTF store as well and fill your closets or your wardrobe. You can use the QR code on the screen or head to shop.ontexasfootball.com. Bobby has the hats. He has a brand new coffee and football mug that you can be drinking out of each and every morning while you watch the show. So check that out. Once again, shop.ontexasfootball.com or the QR code on the screen. Well, we will be back same time, same place tomorrow. Hope you all have an outstanding day today. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Hump